Hello friends, I'm going to try to make this video one more time. This time I turned on my microphone. Yeah, I love when you get done with an entire video and it's like, oh man. So this one is nothing new. I do it in class every once in a while. We do it on the ground or on the wall, various forms, but I like doing it against the wall. You can control the pressure a little bit more and find the right pressure for your chest in front of the shoulder, right? So we're going to work through that line. I want you to think of there being a clock on your wall. You've got your 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. On the other side, you've got 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So that's what we're going to use as our landmarks for where we extend the arm, so to speak. We're going to start with the right arm. I'm not going to mirror, right? You stand facing the wall, and you want a pretty long wall because you want to extend your arm out and be able to just press into the wall with your hand. So I don't have to have my right shoulder all the way at the wall touching it, but I do have it near the wall, and I'm facing the wall pretty well right now. And before we ever move into the stretch, I'm a firm believer in getting a little bit of stability in the joint before we go to stretch it, right? So how do we do that? So my arm is teed out, it's at 3 o'clock. I push into my right hand and finger pads as if I'm doing a downward dog, right? And I reach my fingers even a little bit over to the right. I don't move them much, right? That's just the energetic action. Again, like downward dog, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can slide my upper trap down, and the muscles around my right shoulder, I'm just gonna really gently hug those muscles in and turn them on. Now already you might be feeling a stretch and it might be plenty. I like to stay here for a breath or two and just kind of digest what's happening in that shoulder before I move deeper in, right? Deeper is in quotes, by the way. And then when you turn, I'm going to ask that instead of just turning your toes all the way that way and your chest facing this way, let your chest turn first and then turn your knees and your toes to point the same way as your chest, just kinder on our joints down there. And you know, without the right shoulder moving away from the wall. If we move away from the wall, we're figuring out, the body is figuring the path of least resistance, how not to get into that stretch, right? So keep the shoulder towards, not on it, towards the wall. Still hugging, still softening my right trap, still pushing into my hand and my finger pads, reaching my right fingertips away. Crown of the head lifting up, jaw and shoulder soft. I could go on and on. And then maybe you go just a little further in. Y'all know me well enough by now to know that I believe that it's better for the body. I've yet to find a body that this isn't true for, where you move in a little bit, you take a second, let the body kind of digest that, soften into it, let go of protectionism, whatever your body does, right? Become accustomed to, and then maybe move a little further in. And I also believe that we Americans are extremists, and I don't think that's a great thing for our body, like going to that ripping the muscle open, not so much. And turn back towards the wall. You're going to walk up to your 2 o'clock. Before you move into it, right, I'm going to push my hand and finger pads in, reach my fingers a little bit away, soften my upper trap down. Those are my friends who know external rotation. We keep externally rotating that arm, especially the higher we go. Walk the hand, when we walk the hand up, I mean. And then a little hugging around the right shoulder and just pausing and feeling it out, what's happening. If there's protectionism or anything, let it go. Let the shoulder know it's safe. You're not going to try to rip it open. Maybe turning the chest, the knees, and the toes into whatever that next place is without the right shoulder moving further away from the wall. If closing the eyes helps you tune into the sensations of the body, I invite you to do that anytime. Maybe going just that next little bit. Again, try not to be too extreme with this. Not everybody, right? We all have different things with our shoulders, but the shoulder is a pretty mobile joint by design. We used to swing from trees and various things, and we need to move our arms to go overhead and do all this stuff, right? So we want to make sure that we keep stability in this area, right? And not just stretch the heck out of it. Come towards the wall again, walk your hand up to your 1 o'clock. Now in this one particularly, think about the tricep moving into the face and rotating, external rotation, that upper arm, right? Hopefully then that upper trap softens down and you get out of that. If you can't, go a little lower, don't go up so high. Push into the hand, reach the fingertips away, right? Hug the muscles around the shoulder, upper trap down. Pause and just notice what you notice. As you go higher, is that harder to find any of those things? Maybe turning the chest, the toes, and the knees in just a little bit without moving away from the wall. And breathing. Maybe closing the eyes if that tunes you into your body and what's happening in there. Maybe you move in just a little further with the chest, the knees, and the toes. Maybe not. And then we're going to turn towards the wall and just slide that arm all the way down. And before we go to the other side, just pause for a moment. I didn't mirror you, so you would be on that side, right? But the right shoulder, chest, I mean, I got tingles all the way down because I was overhead, etc., right? But compare it to that left arm and just notice what you notice. And then we're going to go to that left arm. So I turn towards the wall, stretch my left arm out, and this time I'm at 9 o'clock, right? I push the hand into the wall, and I'm sorry you're seeing my back body, but actually I think it's pretty informative to see it from this side as well, right? So I push into the wall with my finger pads. I reach my fingertips a little bit away from me as I would in a downward dog, rotating that upper arm, softening the shoulder down, gently hugging the muscles of the shoulder. Ah, that's so much, oh my gosh. Yeah, but not really, right? And I take a breath or two. And you know, why are we in such a rush that we have to rush in and try to move into a really big move without tuning in? Maybe turning the chest, the toes, and the knees just a little further in and checking in. And if you're turning your body all the way around and your arm is behind you, chances are great that you have a hypermobile shoulder. And then my question is do you need to stretch it as deeply if you already have that much mobility in your shoulder joint? Or would it behoove you to work strength more? What balances you? Maybe you turn the chest in just a little bit more. Keep pushing hands down, fingers reaching away, hugging shoulder in, upper trap down, crown of the head tall, jaw is soft. Turn towards the wall a little bit, walk up to your 10 o'clock. Push in, reach away, shoulder towards the wall, external rotation, soften upper trap down, hug muscles of the shoulder, pause. Right? Are you already into that deep, deep stretch? Why do you need to rush in? Maybe turning the chest in just a little bit. The deeper we listen to our body, I think the healthier relationship we end up having with it. Maybe moving a little further in without the upper trap engaging, without the shoulder, shoulder moving too far away from the wall, etc. Turn back towards the wall, walk up to your 11 o'clock. Pushing into the wall, reaching the fingers away, especially on this one. Externally rotate that tricep in towards the face, drop the upper trap down, hug the muscles of the shoulder, right? Pause and notice what you notice. Is this shoulder different than the other? How so? Right? Become articulate about what is happening in your body. You don't have to use the same language I do. Maybe the chest turns in a little bit, but start to find a language where you can notice what's happening in your body and even the subtle things, right? Maybe that chest turns in a little more, hopefully maintaining every action we already put into place. And turn back towards the wall, slide that arm all the way down, and just pause for a moment and notice the left shoulder compared to the right, but also now we've done both sides, so just kind of notice that upper body. Notice any feelings you have, not only through the front of the shoulder, the chest, the inner armpit, right? But of course that moves us into the chest, our heart, our lungs, our thymus gland, various things in there, right? Maybe we're breathing a little deeper, more naturally. Maybe our shoulders move back and our upper back is not quite as rounded. Whatever it is, notice what you notice in your particular body. And whether or not that was a beneficial thing, or did that actually feel like it was too extreme or moved you into things that weren't comfortable or caused muscular tension, etc. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. And I want you to bring your awareness, and you can open your eyes if it helps you to discover what I'm talking about. But there's a muscle that runs through the inner armpit, and we just stretched it pretty good. When you're in this pose, just notice if this muscle is tensing, and if you're using this muscle. You can see it pretty good on me right now, right? And then if it is, right, we're moving the arm into internal rotation, the shoulder blades are moving into protraction. Not a terrible thing. It's one of the motions the body can do. Chances are great you do that a lot of times in a lot of places. So can you slide your shoulder blades down your back, and can you soften this muscle so that this muscle is not engaged? If you're feeling really tight there, you might overuse that muscle. Chances are pretty good. So can you get out of that muscle or find other muscles to help so this one doesn't do everything? These muscles and the upper traps, whoo-wee, they are workhorses. Man, do we use them for way too much, usually. Bow your head in. Take in just a moment of gratitude for these beautiful shoulders. Namaste.